Your mind plays tricks when debt piles up. Research reveals this truth: debt consumes cognitive bandwidth, much like a computer running too many programs simultaneously. Your brain literally functions differently under financial strain. Most people don't realize they're trapped. The anxiety feeds itself. You worry about bills. That worry makes it harder to think clearly. Poor decisions follow. More debt accumulates. The cycle repeats. Studies comparing people before and after debt relief show remarkable results. Cognitive functioning improves by roughly 25% when even one debt account disappears. Think about that. Your actual thinking capacity increases when debt pressure decreases. This isn't about complex payment strategies. We won't debate snowball versus avalanche methods today. Instead, we'll examine something more fundamental: how debt hijacks your mental operating system and what you can do about it. Here's what happens inside your head. Each separate debt account creates what researchers call a mental account that consumes mental bandwidth. Your brain tracks each one individually. Credit card 1, credit card 2, medical bill, car payment, student loan. Among adults experiencing depression or anxiety, more than 27% report medical debt from the past year, compared to fewer than 10% of those without these conditions. The connection runs both directions. Debt triggers mental health struggles. Mental health struggles make debt management harder. Imagine your mental capacity as a computer's processing power. Each debt account opens a separate window. These windows run constantly in the background. They drain resources even when you're not actively thinking about money. You might be reading, cooking dinner, talking with family. But those mental windows keep running, consuming energy you need for other tasks. The National Institute of Mental Health estimates 40 million Americans experience anxiety, with financial worries serving as a massive trigger. That's more than 1 in 10 Americans whose anxiety connects directly to money concerns. The physical manifestations appear everywhere: racing heartbeat, shortened breath, dry mouth, persistent headaches. Sleep becomes difficult. Concentration falters. You literally can't learn, remember, stay attentive, or solve problems as effectively when stress prevents paying your water bill. The loop operates like this. Financial stress elevates cortisol production. Prolonged elevation of cortisol affects cognitive functioning and increases susceptibility to mood disorders. Your body essentially stays in emergency mode. That emergency state wasn't designed for long-term activation. What happens next? Decision-making deteriorates. Research on chronic debt shows it impairs behavior because mental accounting costs of owning distinct debt accounts consume mental bandwidth. You make worse choices precisely when you need better ones. Consider what researchers discovered in Singapore. Before debt relief, 78% of participants showed generalized anxiety disorder symptoms. After relief, that number dropped to 53%. Nearly 40% of anxious participants stopped showing symptoms entirely. The debt itself was driving the anxiety. The response time on cognitive tests provides another window. Median reaction time improved from 2.08 seconds before debt relief to 1.41 seconds afterward. People literally thought faster without debt pressure. Here's where it gets tricky. Denial often arrives first. Many consumers continue spending compulsively without considering their deteriorating financial condition until some outside event forces change. Credit gets denied. Foreclosure threatens. Legal action begins. Debt collectors call repeatedly. Interest charges and late fees accumulate. Then stress replaces denial. Credit card debt serves as the strongest predictor of financial strain. The manifestations include sleeplessness, lost focus, constant worry. Eventually, anger emerges. The medical field even has a term: debt anger syndrome. People get angry at creditors sending bills, at mail carriers delivering bills, at bosses not paying more, at spouses not earning more, at children needing braces, at themselves for the entire situation. These feelings don't just damage relationships. The physiological effects can lead to migraines, heart disease, and reduced resistance to infections. Depression often follows. Hopelessness sets in alongside diminished self-esteem. Some people then accumulate even more debt attempting to relieve depression through shopping or other temporary escapes. Most financial advice focuses on mechanics. Should you pay smallest balances first? Target highest interest rates? Consolidate everything? These questions matter, but they miss something critical. Researchers found that controlling for debt relief amount, having an additional debt account paid off, improves cognitive functioning significantly and reduces anxiety likelihood by 11%. The number of separate accounts matters more than the total amount owed. Think about implications. Someone owing $20,000 spread across 5 accounts faces more mental burden than someone owing $25,000 in one account. The math says the second person has more debt. The psychology says the first person suffers more. Traditional financial planning rarely addresses this. Financial education should account for psychological costs of managing household finances. Managing multiple mental accounts creates real cognitive costs even when people prioritize accounts rather than minimizing borrowing expenses. Many people over 50 carry particularly complex debt loads. From 1999 through 2019, total debt burden carried by people 70 or older increased 543%. Mortgages not yet paid off. Credit cards not trimmed down. Car loans still outstanding. Other balances still owed. Longer lifespans create more opportunities for debt accumulation, especially healthcare expenses. The resulting financial stress can cause depression and anxiety, which compounds age-related cognitive decline and memory issues. Most people don't recognize the cycle until it's entrenched. A poor financial situation may lead to mental health struggles, and struggling with mental health makes managing money even more difficult, so debt continues growing. The stigma compounds everything. Many feel ashamed of debt problems. They keep struggles private, yet debt represents a normal part of financial life for millions of Americans. Some debt results from poor decisions and unwise spending. Other debt proves unavoidable, funding education, buying homes, covering unexpected medical expenses. Ignoring debt won't eliminate it. Avoidance often worsens the problem through late payments and continued overspending. Research analyzing social media provides insight into real experiences. A study examining over 85,000 student loan-related posts found high levels of mental health issues, including depression, stressful feelings, and worrying thoughts associated with debt. One common thread emerged: wanting more information. Many social media users wish they had learned about budgeting or basic financial management earlier in life, or shouldn't have taken on their current debt level. For those with mental illness symptoms, the stress of repaying loans appeared to exacerbate their condition. Even users not expressing mental illness symptoms felt angry and sad about debt. Almost 1 in 3 vented anger online. Researchers noted prolonged anger could lead to mental health issues over time. Your brain doesn't treat all money equally. Mental accounting serves as an adaptive mechanism for consumers to lessen negative psychological impact associated with any form of financial loss. When given opportunities to repay multiple debt accounts, consumers consistently choose paying off the account with smallest debt to reduce total debt account numbers, despite higher debt accounts accruing higher interest rates. Why does this happen? Because each closed account provides psychological relief beyond the mathematical benefit. Your brain experiences each eliminated account as a victory. That victory feeling motivates continued action. Students with high debt levels face unique challenges. They don't view smaller monthly payments until after graduation. Instead, they imagine a large, insurmountable number, the entirety of their debt. This creates what researchers call financial nihilism. The daunting debt level and feeling it's impossible to surmount leads to the idea that incurring even more debt won't make a difference in the grand scheme. This spending behavior only worsens indebtedness. The solution? Regulatory changes now require viewing future monthly payment breakdowns while still in school. Viewing monthly debt payment, a more manageable number than the lump sum, dramatically increases price sensitivity for major purchases and reverses the numbing effect. Now we reach the practical framework. This isn't about payment schedules. It's about reclaiming mental capacity. Step 1. Acknowledge the cognitive cost. Stop pretending debt doesn't affect your thinking. It does. Mental bandwidth describes the brain's ability to perform basic functions underlying higher-order behavior and decision-making. Bandwidth can be depleted, allocated, and capped as a function of life circumstances. Financial concerns create a burden. A life in poverty associates with worries, stress, and anxiety from uncertainty about affording essential needs, minimal food amounts, basic hygiene products, and medicine. Write down how debt affects you specifically. Do you avoid opening mail? Miss sleep thinking about bills? Feel stomach tension when charges hit your card? Name these effects. Recognition represents the first step toward change. Step 2. Prioritize mental relief over mathematical optimization. This challenges conventional wisdom. Financial advisors often recommend targeting high-interest debt first. The math makes sense, but the psychology works differently. Poverty alleviation policies aimed at the indebted poor should consider addressing mental accounting and bandwidth taxes. What does this mean for you? Consider paying off your smallest balance first, even if other debt carries higher interest. That first cleared account provides disproportionate psychological benefit. To achieve the same cognitive functioning effect of eliminating one debt account, a beneficiary must receive debt relief worth approximately 1 month's household income. The interest rate difference might cost you slightly more mathematically, but the mental relief often generates better decision-making that more than compensates. You're not just managing debt, you're managing the mental burden debt creates. Step 3. Create visible progress markers. Your brain needs evidence that effort produces results. Debt reduction often feels invisible. Years pass with balances barely budging. Change this. Track accounts closed rather than just dollars paid. Each eliminated account represents a cognitive load removed. Consider someone with 5 debts, 3 credit cards, a medical bill, and a car loan. Paying $5,000 toward the car loan feels substantial financially, but cognitively, you still manage 5 mental accounts. Alternatively, using that $5,000 to eliminate the medical bill and smallest credit card removes 2 mental accounts. You now track 3 debts instead of 5. Your brain experiences this as significant progress. Keep a simple visual record, a list of debts with dates eliminated. Each crossed-off item provides psychological momentum. That momentum matters more than people realize. The anxiety loop requires interruption at multiple points. Start with physical responses. Living a healthy lifestyle, including eating healthy food, exercising, and getting good sleep, can greatly improve physical health and mental outlook. This isn't optional self-care. It's essential infrastructure for making better financial decisions. Anxiety impairs processing ability in both the central executive and the phonological loop through preoccupying anxious thoughts and subvocalization using up working memory resources. Translation: anxiety literally reduces your ability to process information and make decisions. Managing anxiety improves financial decision-making directly. Second, address isolation. Many people feel ashamed of money problems and keep them to themselves. However, connecting with others can help mental health. Talking to trusted friends about money problems provides a good starting point. Consider professional support. Counseling can help deal with any mental issues related to debt problems. A professional can help stop using unhealthy coping methods. Feeling out of control amplifies every other problem. People with substantial debt can feel like they have no control over their lives. This perception becomes self-fulfilling. Feeling powerless leads to passive responses. Passive responses worsen situations. Worsening situations reinforce powerlessness. Breaking this requires reclaiming agency, even in small ways. Take honest inventory of debt you're carrying. Review each debt, including interest rates and late payment history. List how much you owe on each debt and when each minimum payment comes due. This helps structure your repayment process. The act of organizing information restores some control. You're no longer avoiding. You're facing circumstances directly. That shift matters psychologically. Check credit reports. Checking credit reports helps better understand credit history and account status. Free credit reports are available from authorized sources. Knowledge reduces fear. Unknown threats feel larger than known ones. Clarity about your actual situation often proves less frightening than vague worry. Understanding mental accounting enables strategic choices. Research shows consumers in Malaysia manage debt more effectively by treating credit as distinct budget categories. Mental accounting can work for you or against you. Mental accounting can lead to debt aversion when pain associated with debt repayment isn't coupled with gain related to consumption. Use this. Separate the pain of debt from the pleasure of consumption psychologically. When paying down debt, celebrate each payment as progress toward freedom rather than loss of money. This reframing affects motivation substantially. Self-control bias and overconfidence are biases related to emotional state, while mental accounting and availability bias relate to cognitive shortcuts individuals use. Recognize which biases affect you most. Do you struggle with present bias, choosing immediate gratification over long-term benefit? Or does overconfidence lead you to underestimate repayment challenges? Different biases require different interventions. Setting realistic expectations prevents discouragement. Debt accumulated over years won't disappear in months. However, psychological improvement can occur faster than financial recovery. Remember those Singapore study results. Cognitive functioning significantly improves after debt relief, with average error rates falling from 18% to 4%. Mental clarity returns before balances reach zero. Each eliminated account provides immediate cognitive benefit. This creates positive momentum. Research suggests focusing on account elimination rather than just balance reduction accelerates psychological recovery. That psychological recovery then supports better financial decision-making, creating a virtuous cycle replacing the anxiety loop. Expect setbacks. Life happens. Unexpected expenses arise. Progress isn't linear. Getting out of debt isn't worth burning yourself out over. Take care of your mental health because nothing else in life works if it's not intact. The fundamental issue isn't debt itself. It's how debt makes you think and feel differently. We attach so much self-worth to people's income, to their jobs, and to their debt as well. This attachment distorts everything. Your net worth doesn't determine your self-worth. These represent separate concepts that modern culture conflates destructively. People find comfort in purchases. Retail therapy exists as a phrase for a reason. No matter what kind of debt you battle, remind yourself not to conflate self-worth and net worth, especially during hard economic times. One person paid off $81,000 in student loans over 9 years through side hustles and freelancing. The journey took a toll mentally. Not having a full-time job after graduation while owing substantial debt felt depressing and shameful, leading to severe depression and anxiety throughout 2012. That person offers advice worth considering. Remind yourself what makes you happy with a grounding mantra for anyone in debt who feels unsafe. I'm healthy. I'm safe. I have a roof over my head. In today's world, that's rich. The anxiety loop thrives in darkness. Acknowledgement brings light. You're not weak for struggling with debt. You're human. Debt and worry associated with debt connect with a range of mental health problems, including elevated symptoms of depression and anxiety. The connection runs deep. Debt and loans increase anxiety, distress, and depression levels in individuals. But connection doesn't mean permanent. Understanding the mechanism enables intervention. Your action plan starts now. First, list every separate debt account you carry, not dollar amounts yet, just accounts. Credit cards, medical bills, student loans, car payments, personal loans, everything. Second, identify which account you could eliminate fastest, not largest, not highest interest. Fastest to zero. That becomes your priority target. Third, automate minimum payments on everything else. Eliminate the mental bandwidth required for remembering due dates. Your brain can redirect that energy toward your target account. Fourth, track accounts eliminated, not just dollars paid. Keep visible evidence of progress. Your brain needs to see victories. Fifth, recognize when anxiety interferes with decision-making. Physical symptoms signal mental bandwidth depletion. Managing stress through techniques such as yoga and meditation can free up the central executive to effectively manage incoming information. Remember this: 70% of Americans report feeling stressed about money. You're not alone. This isn't personal failure. It's widespread struggle reflecting economic conditions and human psychology. The anxiety loop loses power when you understand its mechanism. Each eliminated debt account reclaims mental bandwidth. That reclaimed bandwidth enables better decisions. Better decisions reduce debt faster. Faster reduction builds momentum. You're not just paying off debt. You're reclaiming your mind's operating capacity. That's worth pursuing regardless of interest rate calculations. The debt anxiety loop operates silently. Most people don't realize they're trapped until the weight becomes crushing. But awareness changes everything. You've learned how debt consumes cognitive bandwidth, how each separate account drains mental resources, how anxiety impairs decision-making, creating a self-perpetuating cycle. More importantly, you've learned the way out. Prioritize mental relief over mathematical optimization. Eliminate accounts rather than just reducing balances. Track visible progress to build momentum. Your brain functions differently under debt pressure. That's not weakness, that's neuroscience. Understanding this allows strategic intervention. Start today. List your accounts. Choose your target. Begin reclaiming the mental bandwidth debt has consumed. Freedom from financial anxiety isn't just about becoming debt-free. It's about thinking clearly again, making better decisions, living without constant background worry. That freedom is available. The path is clear. The first step awaits.